Spirit Airlines charged you for carry-ons, for seat selection, for printing a boarding pass, for water. They called it democratizing air travel, making flying affordable for everyone. Customers called it hell. For years, Spirit was the most hated airline in America. Lowest customer satisfaction, highest complaint rate. But they were profitable. Then their $3.8 billion merger with JetBlue got blocked. In November 2024, Spirit filed for bankruptcy, $1.1 billion in debt. Stock went from $80 to 83 cents. This is what happens when your business model is making people miserable. This is the spectacular collapse of Spirit Airlines.
If you love watching High Stakes Bet Go Sideways, hit that like button and subscribe Founders Code YouTube channel.
It became that intentionally. It was the business model. Founded in 1980 as a tiny charter airline, Spirit rebranded in 2007 as an ultra-low-cost carrier, the American version of Europe's Ryanair. The strategy: offer the absolute lowest base fare possible, then charge for literally everything else. The Spirit model: base ticket, $29 to $79, insanely cheap. Carry-on bag, $65. Checked bag, $35 to $50. Seat selection, $5 to $50. Printing boarding pass at airport, $10. Water, $3. Snacks, $5 to $10. Your $49 ticket quickly became $150 plus after fees. But Spirit marketed the base fare aggressively. People saw $49 to Vegas and booked impulsively only to discover the fees later. The experience was deliberately miserable. No free snacks, no free drinks, seats that didn't recline, minimal leg room, 28 inches, industry worst, thin padding, bright yellow interiors, scientifically proven to be less relaxing, everything designed to be cheap, fast, and uncomfortable. Spirit's philosophy: if you want comfort, fly someone else. If you want cheap, tolerate the misery. And for a while, it worked. Spirit was profitable even while being universally despised. Why? Because poor people and budget travelers had no alternatives. If you needed to fly but couldn't afford $300 for Southwest, Spirit was your only option. By 2019, Spirit was carrying 35 million passengers annually. They'd grown from 30 aircraft in 2010 to 150 plus by 2020. Revenue hit $4 billion. The model was printing money despite customers hating every second of the experience. Picture this. You're at the airport. You booked a $49 Spirit flight to save money. You arrive with your carry-on. The gate agent stops you. That'll be $65. You argue. They don't care. You pay or you don't fly. You board the plane. The seat is a wooden plank, no recline, no space. The person in front leans back anyway, into your face. You ask for water, $3. You land, exhausted and angry. You vow to never fly Spirit again. But 6 months later, you need a cheap flight, and there's Spirit offering $59 tickets. You book again, the cycle repeats. That was Spirit's business, exploiting people who had no choice. Spirit's customer experience wasn't just bad, it was statistically the worst in America. Department of Transportation rankings, 2019, dead last in customer satisfaction every year, highest complaint rate per passenger, worst on-time performance, frequent delays, cancellations, most involuntary, denied boardings, kicking passengers off overbooked flights. Spirit's reputation became a meme. Social media was flooded with Spirit horror stories. Flights delayed 8+ hours with no explanation, passengers fighting over overhead bins because everyone paid to avoid checking bags, planes so dirty, passengers posted photos of trash, stains, and broken seats. Gate agents with zero empathy enforcing absurd fees, robotically viral videos of passengers brawling on Spirit flights. Spirit became synonymous with chaos. Spirit Airlines fight was a genre on YouTube. The joke wrote itself, of course it's Spirit. But Spirit's leadership defended the model. They argued they were democratizing air travel, giving low-income families access to flights they couldn't otherwise afford. Critics said they were exploiting poor people by offering terrible service and hidden fees. The truth? Both. Spirit did enable travel for budget-conscious customers. but the experience was so degrading that it felt exploitative. Then came 2020. The pandemic grounded aviation. Spirit, like every airline, hemorrhaged money. But when travel resumed in 2021, Spirit faced new problems. Problem number one, fuel costs skyrocketed. Spirit's model depended on thin margins. They made money by flying planes 100% full with rock-bottom operating costs. When jet fuel prices surged 50% plus in 2021 to 2022, Spirit's margins evaporated. They couldn't raise base fares too much without losing their price advantage. They couldn't cut costs further. They'd already squeezed everything. Problem number two, labor shortages. Post-pandemic, airlines faced pilot and crew shortages. Spirit had to increase wages to compete. Labor costs rose 25 to 30%. For a low-cost carrier with razor-thin margins, this was devastating. Problem number three, competition intensified. Southwest, traditionally a mid-range carrier, started offering $79 fares, barely more than Spirit, but with drastically better service. JetBlue launched fare sales. Even legacy carriers like American and United offered budget fares on key routes. Customers who tolerated Spirit because it was the cheapest option suddenly had alternatives, and they fled. Why suffer Spirit for $49 when Southwest charges $79 and treats you like a human? Problem number four, the fee model backfired. Regulators and consumer advocates pressured airlines to stop hidden fees. In 2023, new rules required upfront disclosure of all fees. Spirit's $49 ticket was now displayed as $135 total after fees. The psychological trick, advertising a low base fare, was neutered. Customers saw the real price and realized Spirit wasn't actually cheaper. By 2023, Spirit was in crisis. Flights were half empty. Revenue per passenger was down. Costs were up. The company was bleeding cash. Stock price, $80, 2021, $15, 2023. They needed a miracle. February 2022, Spirit announces a merger with Frontier Airlines, another ultra-low-cost carrier. The deal, $2.9 billion. The logic, combined two budget airlines to compete better against Southwest and JetBlue. Then JetBlue crashes the party, April 2022. JetBlue makes a hostile bid, $3.8 billion cash for Spirit. JetBlue's pitch, we'll pay more. We'll create a national low-cost competitor to the big four, American, Delta, United, Southwest. Spirit's board rejects the offer, too risky. JetBlue and Spirit have completely different business models. Merging would be a disaster. Plus, antitrust regulators would never approve it. But Spirit's shareholders revolt. They want the higher payout. They pressure the board. In July 2022, Spirit's board caves. They accept JetBlue's $3.8 billion offer. Wall Street celebrates. Spirit's stock soars. For Spirit's executives and investors, this is the exit they dreamed of. JetBlue would absorb Spirit, rebrand the planes, and Spirit's misery business would end. Everyone wins. Except for one problem, the U.S. Department of Justice. March 2023, the DOJ sues to block the merger. Their argument, JetBlue will eliminate Spirit's ultra-low fares and reduce competition. Spirit serves a critical market segment, budget travelers who can't afford anything else. If JetBlue absorbs Spirit and raises fares, millions of low-income passengers lose their only affordable option. JetBlue argues they'll keep low fares. The DOJ doesn't believe them. JetBlue's business model is mid-tier service with higher prices. They've never operated a budget airline. History shows merged airlines raise prices, not lower them. The case goes to trial. JetBlue's CEO testifies. Spirit's executives testify. Economists present data. For months, the merger hangs in limbo. October 2023. A federal judge rules against the merger. Blocked. The reasoning? JetBlue would likely eliminate Spirit's budget fares, harming consumers. The merger is anti-competitive. JetBlue and Spirit appeal. But in March 2024, the appeal fails. The merger is dead. JetBlue walks away, Spirit is on its own, and Spirit is fucked. The stock crashes from $15 to $2. Investors abandon ship. Spirit's entire plan was the JetBlue buyout. Without it, they have no path to survival. The business model is broken. Fuel costs are high, competition is fierce, customers hate them. Summer 2024. Spirit tries a last-ditch turnaround, new routes, bundled fare options, gasp, including a carry-on, marketing campaigns trying to rebrand as fun and affordable. But it's too late. The damage is done. Flights remain half empty, losses mount, debt payments loom. By October 2024, Spirit is negotiating with creditors, trying to restructure, but everyone knows what's coming. November 18th, 2024, Spirit Airlines files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, $1.1 billion in debt. Operations continue for now, but the future is grim. Creditors will likely force liquidation or a fire sale acquisition. The stock, once $80, trades at 83 cents. Spirit Airlines, the most hated airline in America, finally collapsed. Not because of hatred, Spirit's bankruptcy forces a question. Can you build a sustainable business by making customers miserable? For years, Spirit's answer was yes, be the cheapest option. Customers will tolerate anything if the price is low enough. And for a while, they were right. But Spirit's model had a fatal flaw. Customer hatred is a liability when alternatives exist. Compare Spirit to Ryanair. Ryanair is Europe's version of Spirit. Ultra low cost, fees for everything, minimal service. But Ryanair is wildly profitable and still growing. Why? Because Ryanair dominates short-haul European routes with minimal competition. If you want to fly from London to Barcelona for $30, Ryanair is your only option. You hate the experience, but you have no alternative. Spirit operated in a competitive U.S. market where Southwest, JetBlue, and legacy carriers all offered budget fares. Compare Spirit to Southwest. Southwest also offers low fares, but Southwest built loyalty through free checked bags, no change fees, friendly service, and operational reliability. Customers choose Southwest even when it's slightly more expensive, because the experience doesn't make them want to die. Spirit optimized for the lowest possible cost. Southwest optimized for the best experience at a low price. In the long run, Southwest's model won. What Spirit should have done: invest in reliability. Spirit's on-time performance was industry worst. Frequent delays and cancellations destroyed customer trust. Spending more on operational excellence would have reduced complaints and built loyalty. Offer a mid-tier option. Not everyone wants bare bones. Offering a $99 fare with one carry-on and seat selection included would have captured customers willing to pay slightly more for less misery. Improve customer service. Training staff to show empathy and resolve issues would have cost almost nothing but dramatically improved perception. Transparent pricing. Instead of hiding fees, advertise all-in pricing. Fly to Vegas for $135, everything included. Customers hate surprises more than high prices. Brand repositioning. Lean into budget but not miserable. Market as the smart choice for savvy travelers. They believed price was the only thing that mattered. And when their price advantage disappeared, the bankruptcy of Spirit Airlines marks the end of an era. The race to the bottom in U.S. aviation. The model of be the absolute cheapest at any cost doesn't work anymore. Customers have options. They value experience. They'll pay $30 more to not hate their lives for 3 hours. Spirit proved that customer hatred is not a sustainable business model. It's a ticking time bomb. And in November 2024, the bomb exploded. Lesson 1. Customer hatred is a liability, not a feature. Spirit wore customer complaints like a badge of honor. They thought low prices justified terrible service. But when competition increased, hatred became a death sentence. Customers fled the moment they had alternatives. Lesson 2. Race to the bottom has a bottom. Spirit cut costs until there was nothing left to cut. When external costs, fuel, labor, rose, they had no buffer. Sustainable businesses need margin for resilience. Lesson 3, hidden fees, backfire. Spirit's model depended on psychological tricks. Advertise $49, charge $135. When regulators forced transparency, the trick died. Honest pricing beats deceptive pricing long term. Lesson 4, price alone isn't enough. Southwest proves you can be affordable and not hated. Spirit thought price was everything, but customers value experience, reliability, and dignity. Compete on value, not just cost. Spirit Airlines is dead because they optimized for the wrong thing. They wanted to be the cheapest. They should have wanted to be the best value. There's a difference, and that difference is bankruptcy. What's your worst Spirit Airlines story? Did you fly Spirit and survive? What budget airline do you actually like? Share your horror stories below. Like this video if you've ever vowed to never fly Spirit again. Share this with someone who needs to hear that Spirit filed for bankruptcy. Subscribe to Founders Code for more stories about companies that collapsed by treating customers like garbage. Thanks for watching.